Valuation is at the center of M&A decision making. In a cross-border transaction, what are some of the leading practices to make sure you get the valuation right?
When I think about valuation, there are really three key components. The first component is the inputs that will go into whatever analytical framework you're using to measure value. And so I think the diligence process in an international environment is critical, because following on to a comment Alan made earlier, that you need to know who you're dealing with and your customers, and information in certain countries is very difficult to come by. Making sure you have a process to come up with good information that will be input into your analytical framework is important. The second component of valuation is making sure you have the right analytical approach, and that the approach is suited for the type of decision that you're trying to make. So we talked a little bit earlier about discounted cash flow being a fairly static approach that may not provide you with the insight you need to make a business decision. So I think it's important to make sure that analytical framework is correct and the inputs into that analytical framework are happening as expected. And it's interpreting the results and thinking about not just having your model spit out a number, but figuring out how am I going to run the company? What type of risk profile am I acquiring? Are there ways to actively manage that risk? Are there ways to mitigate that risk contractually, or with the help of some smart attorneys like Alan? So I think it's really it's encompassing those three components, and in the international environments, there's increased complexity.
I think just comment anecdotally, what I'm saying from a lawyer's perspective is that EBITDA multiples in certain regions, for example in Latin America, are going up. And that has actually led to more deal activity because they were very depressed, based on recession and recessionary expectations. What I think is happening is that built into the EBITDA multiple valuation is a forecast that things are improving, and buyers are taking into account indicators that the forecast is going to be much stronger than historical results, and they're giving some play to that. So my sense is that more deals are happening because there was a sense by sellers that their companies were worth more than any buyer is willing to pay during the last year, and that's changing a little bit. So we're seeing more M&A activity.